Hey, do I have signal? Hey everyone, it's me, John Park, and this is my workshop. How's everyone doing today? I see a bunch of people over in the chats on YouTube and Discord, so thanks for coming on out. And without further ado, I'm gonna go ahead and get started. So first thing is, for some of you who follow me on social media, on Twitter and Instagram, I think I posted earlier a picture of some new camera equipment that I got to improve the quality of my workbench camera. And so I got it up and running. I'm going to show you that in a second. One consequence of that is I'm now using this webcam that I had pointed over my bench to broadcast this image you're seeing right here, right now, instead of the little built-in FaceTime camera. So that's an improvement on this one. And the camera up there, well, let's switch over to that view and have a look. All right, so this, I'm going to step over there, is now a full-blown mirrorless Micro Four Thirds style camera. This is a Sony a6000 that I'm using. And I have a zoom lens on it that goes from 18 millimeter to 105 millimeter, and I actually don't know what that is equivalent to in 35 millimeter, but you can see right now we're at just about its widest. By the way, I literally set this up over the last hour, and I have not yet set it up to work with my little remote control, so for now I'm going to have to reach up and grab for changing the focal distance and the zoom, or the focus and the zoom. So it might be a little wobbly, but let's see if we can zoom it in here. All right, so that's full zoom on this, which is not bad. And one of the things that I love about these Sony cameras is that they have really good autofocus. So check this out. If I want to show you something, oh, that's a little too close for it. If I want to show you something up here, you can see this came into focus pretty quickly. Drop it down here, and that's not bad. That's not bad for a camera that's in the sub $500 range for the body. Let me pop it back out wide again, which is where I'll more likely leave it. How's that? How about, that's about good, yeah. So if I'm working like this and I want to show you something, I can put that up to the camera and you get a pretty decent autofocus on that. Lighting isn't great there. I got to improve my lighting, but now you can see it drop back down. So I'm very thrilled. So let me switch over to regular workbench view and tell you a little bit about what I wanted to build and play around with today. So I remember I showed these a little while ago when I first got them. These are the NeoSegments. So that's what I've been showing here. And I'm gonna power this one down so I don't cheat the reveal. NeoSegments are these little RGB LED displays, and they come in little modules that have, put that up to the camera, that have 2 digits per module, and they use NeoPixels inside. I took them apart on the last time, so if you're curious, you can go back and find a video. You'll have to scroll through a few of them, I think, but you'll find a video where I've taken these apart. But it's PCB with a set of 1 NeoPixel per segment there, 2 digits, and like any NeoPixel, they can be chained together so that when I have 3 modules, which is what I have here, and I was using a little tape to keep them held together, I can just plug them in, and some of them plug in and hold. This one's decided to start popping out. I'm not sure why, but I think mine are pre-production units. There was a Kickstarter for these. If you go to NeoSegments, I think, or NeoSegment.com, you'll see, I'll pop the website up later, you'll see more about it. I think you can buy them now. They've been fulfilling orders. And they may have made a tweak to that so those don't pop off like that. But I think for most people, you're going to end up either just playing with these and having fun. Ooh, wow, my regular camera is doing a bunch of autofocus weirdness. Let me zoom that in a little. Stop. All right, that might be better. Now my cameras are fighting. So these are the NeoSegments, and they connect to power, ground, and a data line. So I've got them here on, let me switch over. I've got them here, ignore this for now, I didn't want to unplug that, and I'll show you why in a second. But I've got them plugged into a Metro, Adafruit Metro. Zoom in because I can. A little closer here. And I'm running the USB back to my computer, so I can actually head over to the computer in a bit and show you some of the coding and how this works with the NeoSegment library. So I've got this plugged in right now to pin 12 for data on the Metro, ground, and now I'm going to plug in the 5 volt. And now I'm going to head over to, actually if I reset this, we'll see it do something. So I'm going to do a little reset. Okay, so you see I've got it just glowing these segments at the top and the bottom in green. Okay, so what I'm going to do is I have a little setup here. Let me switch over to, there's a special view I just set up. And I'm going to bring the Arduino to the forefront. So here's a NeoSegment sketch. And let me pull this over to the side a little bit so you can see better. And I'll just move this so that you can see all the segments. Okay, so if you can see this sketch here, so there's a NeoSegment library that abstracts a lot of the fiddly bits about which pins you're talking to and that good stuff. And so what we're doing is we're including this NeoSegment library. And in this example, we're defining things like you usually do with, similar to how you do with the NeoPixels, but instead we're saying how many digits are there. So since I've got 3 modules plugged together, I have 6 digits. I've defined which pin we're plugged into. And then brightness, it can go up to 255. I'm going to push that to the board real quick. And when this restarts, you'll see it's really, really bright. We'll leave it on that for now. So this little sketch that I have here, let me show you how this works. So in the setup, we're initializing the NeoSegment and we're clearing all of the digits. So there's this nice neat clear all. It just lets you blank everything. And then in my loop, I'm doing a really simple thing. This is my test here. I commented it out. So this is a loop that runs through 6 times. And what it does on each loop through is it runs this thing called NeoSegment set digit. And really the only 2 commands that I've played with, and I think the only 2 that really display stuff, are set digit and set segment. And then by placing my I, which is this number that's looping each time, I'm saying on the first go around, light up the segment that's the first segment. It's actually called segment 0. So light up segment 0, and that's this first, oh yeah, sorry, once again, my cursor is not where I think it is, so it broadcasts in a weird spot. So I'll highlight things so you can see what I'm talking about. So here's this line, NeoSegment set digit, and so it says, which digit are you talking about? Right now it says I, and then, let me turn a thing off real quick. Hey, there we go. And then what do you want to display on that digit? In this case, I'm saying, again, whatever number we're looping through, so this will be a 0. And then the color. So let's change this. Let's just say I want to only run this on the first digit, which is digit 0. And how about I will loop through 6 numbers on that digit. So what you should see now is it'll clear and then spin its way through that first digit once it's uploaded. It's uploading rather slowly. That's weird. Let me try kicking that thing. Uh-oh. Is it having a problem? It's saying it's having a problem, but it worked. So there we can see, so I've told this to update digit 0 with a number that keeps looping through, and then after it updates it, clear the segment and, clear the segment for half a second, and then go to the next number. When it finishes running through all these, it clears and it holds for a second, and so that's what this pause is that you'll see. Sorry, once again, I'm not highlighting things, so you won't see what I'm picking. So if I just want to change this around to something a little more, so don't worry about the loop. If I say, let's put the letter J in, so there's some characters that work on these type of 7-segment displays. And how about we'll do it in blue. So I'm just going to change that color. Okay, and now we'll upload and I'll drink coffee. And now it's just displaying a J, and then it's actually displaying it 6 times. We just don't see it change, and then it clears for a second. So you can type in some characters with these single quotes, or you can put in numbers, or if I go back to this loop, we're going to display 0 through 6 running up through the segments. I think it's having a little problem uploading, so I'm going to kick that again. And this time in blue. If we want to try something a little bit different, we can set the segment instead. So now what we'll do is I'm just going to set segment 0, and I got to check the syntax on that. I think that's all you need is a color then. The digit, oh sorry, so the digit, which is which whole set of 7 I'm using, and then which of those 7 segments within it. So I'm going to say segment 0 as well. And we'll try uploading that. Okay, so that's segment 0 of the first digit. If I let it loop through this, and let me change this to 7, we should see that first character there light up each of its segments in a row. Boop. And that's probably more fun if we speed it up. So how about short delay? So you can see this library, really easy to work with, really fun for experimenting. Let's see it go fast now. Oh, had a problem again uploading. I haven't seen, I think there's a ESP8266 capable library for NeoSegments and a Raspberry Pi capable library. And I'd love to see it come to CircuitPython. You could probably light these up just using the NeoPixel libraries. You just wouldn't get any of these benefits of it being so darn easy as this abstraction makes it. Okay, now it's angry at me. I've angered the uploading gods. So let me pop over to Discord and see if anyone's got questions. Nothing. Okay, that's good. That's a good sign. Nothing's broken. John asks, do they make a NeoSegment with a decimal point? I think this is the only NeoSegment they make currently. I'm pretty sure that there is not one with a decimal point, but that would be nice. It would be nice if they put one after every second one or after every one. Pretty cool. And okay, so now let's take a look at the other half of what I wanted to do here, which is using a keyboard or keypad. Let me switch to this view for a second. So I thought it'd be fun to use this type of phone-style matrix keypad to talk to the NeoSegments. So I don't have a full application for this, but I think this would be a really neat start of any kind of, I'm going to say this, escape room puzzle or mystery box type of thing. I think with a sort of unique display, this doesn't look like your typical small display, it would be a really nice effect, and since it's got the RGB color capabilities, you could include that in either your feedback, like changing the colors of the digits could be meaningful for the players, or you could even have people punching in with one of the buttons like the star or the pound sign. They could be cycling through colors. So I think there's a lot of interesting stuff you can do using these as an input for this little, not so little display. So I talked earlier about not wanting to mess around too much with, let me zoom in even further, unplugging this, and let me just try to see if I can, I think that's as bright as I can get it right now. I'm going to turn on one other light and point it at here. Let's see if this doesn't improve things a little bit. Maybe. So there are, what, 8 outputs on here, and in the keypad library I've got this. I've got things mapped so that you can plug them right up the digital, right up the digital side of this Arduino or Metro, and there's probably a few other boards where you've got enough, you've got 8 digital pins next to each other to read this matrix. And so I've got them plugged in 2 through 9 right now. So I'm using individual jumpers. They're actually, the wires are stuck together, but the jumpers are individual. And I'd prefer to use, I have some of those different lengths of jumpers, so I have them in 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 10, single row, double row. So I'd love to switch to those. That would be cool, and you can actually pry off these individual ones. There's like a little retaining clip that you can see there. When you pry that off, you could pry all these off and then slot them into the 8-way one. That's a little finicky for doing right here on the show today, so I'm going to use some tape instead. I'm actually just going to grab probably some gaffer's tape will be the best thing for this, for just temporary. You could probably also super glue these together. I'm guessing that would work pretty well. So I'm going to just take a small section of tape, and since these are in a row, it's not that hard to get them back in together, but this will make life just a little bit easier. And then in a moment when we talk about putting this setup into an enclosure, we'll look at using some right angle connectors so that, not for this side's good, but if we need to make our profile a little lower, actually we might do it on this one too, rather than have this much shooting out here, we can bend that down at a 90-degree angle. So this end I'll just leave it in, but I just want to unplug this to show you. There's our little matrix, and the library I'm using I think is just called Keypad, and you can, if you're using Arduino IDE, if you head to the library manager, you can just type in Keypad into the search and you'll find the library you need, put it into, just hit install, and then you can check out the sample sketch on how to use this. On the Adafruit website, if you look at the keypad, you can get these all over the place and they all work pretty much the same. There's membrane ones, and then these are these nice clicky button ones. If you go to the page on Adafruit for this little keypad, and here's the, where'd I put the box for it? It's called Phone Pad, 3x4 Phone Pad, number 1824. So if you get one of those, head to the page and you'll see some suggestions for the initialization that mostly is just setting it up with this pin order that makes life easy for plugging it into the Metro or to an Arduino. So let's Now, plug this back in, and I'm going to switch back to the Arduino sketch, and hopefully we can upload to this Metro. I might have to unplug and replug it to get it working. Let's move this into view. And try to put that into view there, so we can see what we're talking about here. Okay, so let's take a look now at, this is the matrix keypad sketch that I wrote. So I'm essentially combining some NeoSegment code with a very basic matrix keypad example. So let's see if we can upload it. Let me bring my window up here so you can see this. Uploading. Come on, you can do it. I may have to unplug and replug. And let's just make sure, yeah, we're in the right port. Remember, I've got, you can't see it on this screen because it's cut off, but I've got that first one, the USB modem, is my little camera switcher box because I have a Feather Express there. Yeah, the pins, Bravo Delta, the pins line up so you can plug it directly into the board, which is super, super nice. And that's configurable in this code. So if you look at this bit of code right here in my initialization, I'll highlight it so you can see it. This sets up pins on the Arduino. They're 2, 3, and 4, 5, 6, 7, and 8, and those are carefully selected. Lamore probably did this, Lady Ada did this to make life easy for plugging in. So I'm going to try uploading again. You can do it. Okay, I'm going to unplug and replug this Metro. And this will usually assign a new USB port on the machine to upload to. So I'm going to go and try to pick that port. Okay, it looks like it uploaded. It did say I had an error, but it's actually doing what I expect. If you look on the camera there, you can see. First of all, let's take a look at this serial port. So in the kind of sample example sketch, if you set it up to just echo the keys that it's getting it, you should see 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. Star 0 pound. So that's working well. And so after I got this set up so that I could just echo in my serial port, what I then did was set up the NeoSegments to read those values that are coming in from the keypad and display them on the NeoSegments. So let's look through this code a little bit. So we have this setup of reading the matrix of columns and rows. Here we're instantiating the keypad object. And I've set a counter here, this little integer that you see. This is for me to count how many times I've pressed the button so that I can loop back around after I've hit the button 6 times. I loop back around to the first one. And I'll show you how I use that later. And then we have a little setup, so we are using a serial just for that display. Print statements that we were just showing. Here's the NeoSegment, we clear the NeoSegment, and then so the first thing I'm doing is kind of like that first NeoSegment sketch I showed you. I'm just running through and lighting up the top and the bottom rows. So if I reset the Metro, I just hit the reset button. So that's what it does there. I just wanted to have a little, hey, you've turned it on, and so these little green lines go across the top and the bottom. Then we get to the main loop of the program that's running, and you can see we have a character variable named key, and it's based on this keypad.getKey command. So that is how we check and see what key came from pressing a button. Then in this little loop, when a key gets pressed, we do some stuff. That's where I was printing to the serial port what key I pressed. It just echoes that. Then I am converting that, which is a character, into this new variable. It's an integer variable called NeoKey, and also giving it a 0 terminator so that we get not the ASCII value, but an actual integer that's useful. So that turns the 1 into a 1, the 2 into a 2, and so on. Then I'm checking and seeing, okay, if the key that was pressed was the asterisk, I'm going to do something in particular. So this might be how you're reading for using like the asterisks as an enter key or something like that in a puzzle. So you'll see what I'm doing when I press asterisk is I'm going to all blue lines at the top. And then you can see if I do the pound key, I go to these yellow O's. And this doesn't have any significance right now, other than I just wanted to test out using those for some unique behavior. You can also see that at the end of either of these, if I've pressed a star or I've pressed a pound key, I flip the Neo counter back to 0. So that means that the next time I press one of the number pads, it's the very first digit that gets hit. Otherwise, we could press the star key 5 times, and then the 6th thing I hit would be a number. So I didn't want to move that around like a cursor. So now let's look and see what I'm doing when I'm actually pressing the keys. So this is the last possibility here. I didn't hit the pound key, I didn't hit the star key. Instead, I've hit one of the other keys. So I'm creating this. This is kind of my cursor position. I'm calling it Neo position. The Neo position is the Neo counter, which starts at 0, remember, and it increases every time I press a button. So it would go 0, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. And it would go on like that forever until I reset. So the number would get really high, and we would just, since I only have 6 segments here, I would never see other numbers show up. What I'm using is this modulo 6, and that makes the number, this integer variable Neo position, that turns it into the remainder of dividing whatever the Neo counter is by 6. So we get that remainder, so which basically means we go 0, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 0, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 0, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. The next thing I'm doing is what we saw when I first demoed the NeoSegment code, which is this set digit, whatever position I'm in. So we start off originally at 0, and then whatever key, which remember that was me casting the character value that the keypad grabs as an integer, and then what color I'm doing it as. A little note about that, what character it's actually displaying. That is not something that's kind of hardwired into the rows and columns of the keypad. It's actually this big array here. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. That's the, and star and pound, those are the characters that it's displaying. So we could change these into other numbers. You could kind of scramble this up. Maybe that's part of your puzzle, is that you press the 9 and it actually is the 3. So, or just to frustrate someone. But for a puzzle scenario, it's kind of cool that you can pick different values than just what's printed on the number. These are sort of arbitrary. And so this is the big 2-dimensional matrix or array that is being pulled from to decide what character you've actually pressed. So let's take a look at that then in practice. You've seen it, but I'll just give you one last demo here with that code running as is. And so here's my, just playing this to the camera. Can I tell you how excited I am about this new camera. It looks so much better than that little webcam I had. Nothing against webcams, but it's a nice image. Also has nice depth of field. Look how blurry that is. Look at that, huh? Bokeh for days. Okay. Autofocus is back on. So here's my yellow O's. Here's my blue lines. And then here's the secret code of the day. I wish I had a coupon code for you all, and then I would type it in there, and that would be fun. But I don't have one, I'm sorry. Maybe next time. So let's let me pop open Discord and YouTube chat and just see if anyone has any thoughts or questions. I saw, was it Mr. Certainly who said, "Escape room puzzle? Color me surprised." Yes, I do like escape room puzzles. It's true. Did you all see? My friend Bob Claggett had a really cool video he came out with just like in the last day or two of an escape room puzzle he built that is a globe. He cut a globe in half and inserted some sensors, some read sensors, and a microcontroller, might be an Arduino in there, so that he can read the positions of magnets. He glued a bunch of them on the inside of the globe, and then that would unlock a puzzle. He's got a little display on there. It's really cool, so check that out. So Kapton tape works as well too. Oh, that's a good point. I didn't think of using Kapton to hold those pins together. Good call. Someone asks, is there a reason to use the Metro over a standard Uno? No, none at all. You could use whatever microcontroller you have. I'm sure you'd be able to drive this, especially any Arduino compatible because you've got the library. The Metro, I like the Metros. They, the sort of two main features that I like about them versus an Arduino Uno, and it's a minor thing, but I like the micro USB connector versus the big USB connector. I just have a lot of things using that now, so that's convenient. Here, I'll put that into camera view so you can see this is the little micro USB. And when you're using external power over the DC jack, there's an on-off switch there that you have access to, which is kind of nice. It's not, for a lot of projects, you'll have an external on-off that really cuts battery power. This cuts power to the board as well. But nope, this will work with any Arduino compatible. And like I said, there's also an ESP8266 library, I'm pretty sure, and a Raspberry Pi library, so you can, I think for that you can use Python to code the display, which is cool. So, other questions? Yeah, it's the same processor. It's I think this one's, is this 328p or is it 32U4? 328p, I think. Someone check. CG Rover, what am I using for the super overhead cam? I'm using a Sony Alpha A6000. And I'll show a little video, actually. If I have time, I'm going to scrub through a little video I shot earlier of kind of putting this thing together and unboxing it, just a casual video I put together. But a couple things I'll say. I'm already using a Sony. These are mirrorless Micro Four Thirds style cameras, which are great for video. They're pretty small compared to a DSLR. Often they're a little less expensive, but the image quality is fantastic. For me, I wanted to have the same, it's kind of nice to say, inside of the same camera family. I almost got the same one, a 6300, to use up here, but the A6000 is 3 generations ago. They're now up to the 6500, and so it's like a third the cost of the latest one and half of the cost of the one that I'm using over there. So it's funny, I love my camera, this one, but it is doing a weird, I see it doing a weird autofocus wobble today, and I'm not sure why. I don't know if it thinks something back there is a face, what I've done, but I'm seeing it do a little funny. It's angry, like I said, about having a new camera. So I have a 18 to 105 millimeter lens on there, and then I'm running into a little HDMI converter box, which turns the signal into a USB 3. So I'll show that in a second, but I think what we'll do now is let's take a look at using some right angle headers to make the profile of all of this stuff a little smaller, and then try to fit it into an enclosure of sorts. So let me go to this camera. I'm going to zoom up and out a little bit. and I might come back in. Did I see yellow center with red on the sides or all red segments? Yeah, that's a great point. Northern Pike in Discord asks about that. The segments look better in real life than they do on video, and this is kind of a fact of life with LEDs. So these look consistently red to me, and they do fade off to the sides. So there's a single LED in the middle of each segment, so it is dying out a little bit on the sides there. If I type in some ones, you can see that, or on these. The blue, it looks a little more uniform on video, but it looks whiter on video than it really is. These are actually really red to me, and they're orangey yellow to you. And this is yellow to me, and it looks white. So that's mostly an issue with photographing LEDs is tricky. So, okay, so what I'm going to use to adjust the direction of these connections is a handy-dandy 90-degree header pin. And I've got male and female header pins. I've got a bag I can't seem to open here. This has 1 second to comply or I'm chewing it open. All right, I got it. So male, 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 female, and then you just cut them to size. So I'm going to unplug the Metro power. And so for the Matrix keypad, for example, and pop that out, and now I'll use a, let's see, do I have a good way to do that with what I have here? Oh no, do I? Yeah, I'll need another, so I'm going to use, oh no, I don't have a way to do this, do I? Yes, I do. Okay, I'm crazy. Yeah, so I'll set these into here, and then set these like this. And you know what? These may not be long enough to get a good connection. I may have to bail on that idea. I don't know that that's going to work. Let's try it. Let's see if that's a good enough connection. I think these might be a little short, because this is the side that's meant to be soldered onto a board. So let's put power back on. All right, if this works, I'll be surprised. Oh, it works. Okay. All right, it's not ideal. I'm gonna tape that into place just for what we're gonna do here. But oh, look at that. Yeah, it'll be touchy, but just to get the thing into the small enclosure that I have, I'll show you how to use these. What we might want is to solder these directly to the pins or use a different interconnect than what I've got on here. But but if you're using these, what you'll do is grab some diagonal cutters, and I'm going to grab some glasses so I don't stick one of these into my eye. And I'll zoom the camera in. And go full zoom. Yeah, sorry for the wobble. So I'm going to sacrifice one. So we'll count 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, and then you go to the 9th one. I should have done that this way. Count holes 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, and on the 9th one we'll cut it. Okay, so that leaves us with, we've sacrificed one. We could trim that end, so now we have an 8-pin. Go in like that. I think I will try to straighten that a little and tape that down really good and tight. Maybe we'll try the Kapton this time. And C. Grover, one of the reasons also that I like these Sonys is the autofocus is really, really good. I don't know if the 6000 is quite as good as my 6300, but it seems to be working pretty well. If you see when I pull my hands out of the shot, it just takes about a second and it finds the new focus. I think also there's a setting that I haven't changed in the menu yet, which is how quickly it should try to autofocus. And I think I can go to a faster setting on that, which is nice. All right, so I'll take this Kapton tape, cut off a little piece of it. Oh, see, Rover, you bend those regular ones. That's a good idea. You know what? Let's try that instead. I think that'll work better than these 90-degree ones. So I've got these extra long Stacky Headers. And I have them in, I think I have some that are 8 long. Let's see. And I actually have a whole bunch of them. That is my Stacky Header bin. So I think these are 8, right? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Yeah, perfect. Okay, this is going to work so much better because if we take this and unceremoniously bend it, we've now got a much improved header. Thank you. That is the power of the Discord chat. You can save me from doing dumb stuff. So now, no need for tape. I think that's longer than it needs to be. Oh, you know what? Now, here one funny thing about these Stacky Headers is they're thin, so it's not biting. So I'm going to bend, if you see what I'm doing here, I'm bending them a little bit so there's some springy tension holding things in place. And then pop them in. I just missed one, though. So now it doesn't want to fall out just because I gave it a little bit of tension there. And now I'll use my Kapton. You can also cut these down to size so that it's a perfect fit. I thought these might find their way into the deeper into the crimp, but they don't want to. So let's take this Kapton tape. Kapton tape is your friend. Made a little mess of that, but that's all right. Okay, so now we have a nice, secure connection that doesn't pop anywhere near as far out. And we'll do the same over here. So I'm going to take another one of my little handy-dandy headers. I'm going to see if I can use some pliers, and I think I have some parallel jaw pliers. So are you familiar with, oh no, my camera. What happened to that camera? Huh. My regular old camera was upset and has now. Let's see if it's my main cam. It might just be the cable. I've got issues with the HDMI and USB cables on that camera that the weight of cables pulling on them without tension relief caused them to get a little loose. So, where were we? Oh, so I'm going to take these. These are parallel jaw pliers, so it means I can grip with a nice flat edge. This side's a little pinched, but I can grip with a nice flat edge the entire set and bend them kind of like a metal bending brake. Let me go this way against the squared off side. Should give me a nice, pretty nice, not quite 90-degree angle bend. Bring that up. See, can you see that in the camera? Can you focus? Can you do it? There. So decent bend. A little uneven. I was hoping these pliers would be a little more magical. Maybe it's me. All right, looks pretty good. So now I can use that. Move some of these tools out of the way. Yeah, these are neat pliers. Matambale, these are from a company called Vigor. I think they're from Germany. Given to me by my pal Doug North. who collects amazing tools out on the East Coast. So now again, I'll unplug my Metro, and oh, I'm going to need more than what I've got here yet. So I've got 2 pins that are on their own there. So again, I'm going to try to tape those. I'll use that Kapton again. So I'm going to try to tape all of these headers. There's 6 of them, and then thanks to the weird Arduino spacing that we've got there, there's 2 off to the side. Yeah, someone on the Discord chat just posted, thank you, just posted a link for the NeoSegments on Crowd Supply. I think that's maybe the only place to buy them. And then that's going to go white-black. So it is in the order of the assembly, which makes it nice. Okay, so that's all Kaptoned up. And I'll take my little... So we have side to side. We've got room. It's just up and down. I made this enclosure a little small, so I don't mind coming off to the side there. So this will plug in like that. And then these 2. I guess I could... Yeah, I'm just going to bend these pins a little bit. The way I'm showing you is the way you should, but in the interest of time, and actually I don't know if that space is going to be as big a concern as the keypad space was. Let's see. We'll see if that fits. Don't do it this way at home. Don't bend things. Don't bend things so much. Okay, so after all that abuse, let's see if everything works.